So first of all, I want to thank the referee of this game between the Sounders and Montagua of blowing the full-time whistle right as the 90th minute hit, because after yesterday game between the Rapids and Comunicaciones, where that game went to a penalty kick shootout and it was a relatively long PK shootout that delayed me in terms of recording my CCL review of MLS team in a CCL game. I thought this could be the same case in this one too, and especially this one being a late kickoff. If this would have gone to a PK shootout, and knowing CONCACAF PK show and how crazy it is, I was worried I wasn't going to get this review started until around 10 o'clock. Now, second of all, I was actually hoping the Sounders would win this game, and not just because of the fact that I want to kind of erase the embarrassment that we saw the Rapids did against Comunicaciones, but also gives me a chance to wear this. So this just arrived last week, where I actually found this online, where the Seattle Sounders was actually selling a retro Sounders kind of logo on a tie-dye shirt, and I'll tell you what, this is definitely a very good shirt, and that I got it for about $35. So if you add on the taxes and the shipping, it adds up to like about $45, but it definitely looks cool. I mean, this has the old Seattle Sounders logo when they were used to play in the USL, and I know there was a lot of Sounders fans are not really a fan of this logo. I actually like it. I mean, I know this logo, obviously, if they would have used this logo nowadays, it definitely will not be a good look, but for a time when they created this logo in the 90s, it just kind of feel perfect. I mean, it felt like the most 90s kind of soccer logo that we see a lot of MLS and even USL team kind of develop. And, I've also heard that there is a rumor that when the Sounders does decide to rebrand in 2024 and celebrate their 50th anniversary, they might think about bringing back the Orca logo. And if that's the case, I'm all for it, because I do like the Orca logo that they did with their old logo that they used during the USL day. I mean, the new one that they had with the Space Needle, that one looks good, but something tells me the Orca one looks a little bit more awesome than the Space Needle one that they had. But anyway, let us actually get into this game between the Sounders and Montagua. And also, newsflash, I'm actually going to be going to the Sounders versus Nashville game on Sunday, and that, this is kind of a good preview of what I expect in this game, even though I know this game, there wasn't really a lot of fans attending this game. I mean, Lumen's Field was kind of looking like half empty during that game, though I don't blame Sounders fans for not showing up for this game, because, I'm pretty sure they know that they're going to win this one, and especially I think the Krakens was also playing at the same time the Sounders is playing. Yeah, that doesn't help to give some Sounders fan that might also be Krakens fan, and they want to attend their Krakens hockey rather than watch the Sounders in the miserable cold night in Seattle in the middle of February. But that being said, they didn't really miss much, because the Sounders were able to put up a 5 spot again against Montagua, and I will say that this didn't really get ugly until we got into the second half. I mean, in the first half, there was once again some really close call that the Sounders had in this game, and almost kind of a little bit of a deja vu of what we saw in the first leg between both of these teams. Now, in the first minute and just 15 seconds into this game, I'm not sure if Rui Diaz thought that the goalkeeper from Montagua was off his lines, but he actually goes for goal from long range and tried to maybe chip the goalkeeper, but he missed wide there, and it wasn't even close. Then Melendez gets a yellow card after VAR deemed that his challenge on Ladera was worthy a yellow. Now, what's interesting about this is that Melendez actually didn't get a yellow card before they go to VAR, and I thought originally, is this going to be something similar to what we saw in that game between the Rapids and Comunicaciones, where they go to VAR to see whether or not if that was a reckless challenge that is worthy of a red card? And to me, when I look at this, I feel like it would have been harsh to give it a red, especially at that time of the period, and also knowing the fact that, yes, it was kind of studs up, but it was not as bad as what we saw in that game between the Rapids and Comunicaciones, when that Comunicaciones player clearly puts a high boot studs up kind of challenge on Austin Trusty. But nevertheless, the referee did give a yellow card after looking at VAR. And what's weird about this is that this might be the first time I've ever seen a referee go to VAR only to check whether or not if a foul is worthy of a yellow card, because it's usually they only go to VAR whether or not to see if it's a red cards or so. But nevertheless, this is CCL and this is CONCACAF, and this is another classic CONCACAF moment where that's the beauty of this competition, where you always see some wacky things that you don't see any time anywhere else, especially in MLS. But early on, I thought there was a lot of possession for the Sounders, but no real threat in the first 10 minutes from them to trouble the Montagua goalkeeper. In fact, Montagua actually had the first big opportunity, and remember how in the first leg Montagua hit the post and almost went up 1-0. Well, here it looked like they went up 1-0 when Maria thought that he basically puts it into the back of the net and puts it past Stephen Fry. And the way that that when I first look at it, it looked like that one went in. And I think they even showed on the replay that the Montagua's coaching staff was even celebrating because they thought that one went in, but it turns out that actually went wide. And I think it was Stephen Fry, the one that kind of ran into the net and kind of maybe nestled the net a little bit, thinking that of course it went into the back of the net. But originally I thought it went into the back of the net just by the angle that it looked like. It looked like the ball actually goes in, but it turns out it was wide. And again, the Sounders dodged a huge bullet early in this game against Montagua. Now, after that, I thought Montagua really gained some momentum. I mean, they were pretty much sitting in their own half for the first 10 minutes, but that chances really gave them some momentum and they started to gain more possession. Rodon then hits it high from close range in the 21st minute, and then in the 28th minute, you know why a lot of people have always criticized Fox in terms of their coverage in terms of MLS and now CCL game? Well, last year we seen a couple of times where when Fox basically covers some of these MLS games, and especially on FS1, sometimes they basically delay they basically if there is a game that happened before the MLS game basically starts, so usually it's kind of like a college basketball or a college baseball or even a college softball kind of game, they usually keep showing that game until that game is over, and then they switch to an MLS game, and it's incredibly frustrating to see. And I believe Fox is actually not the only network that does that. I know ESPN also did it a couple of times last year, and it's just so frustrating that of course is the case, and that I hope in the new broadcast deal that MLS is going to have in a couple of years, they got to negotiate in terms of this, because this is just getting absolutely ridiculous that is the case. But this, even then, this probably top up probably the most frustrated I have in terms of a TV network covering games. So basically FS2 decided that, yeah, we're just going to switch to college basketball in the middle of the game without any warning whatsoever. Well, actually, Rob Stone did kind of get some warning that, they're just going to switch to college basketball and they're going to come back soon. But, I mean, why? Why would you, in the middle of a game, why would you, of course, decide to do that? And, again, it's not like this game, it is one that it is just kind of a meaningless game. This is a CCL round of 16 second leg game. This is an intercontinental game that is happening, and the fact that FS2 and Fox care more about a regular season college basketball game compared to how this game is, just to show that, again, MLS, they got to figure out in terms of the broadcast deal next year that they cannot allow this to happen. Like, this is a way to basically not gain interest from Fox, basically gaining some ratings from their MLS game, because you're not going to gain any audience when you decide to do that. In fact, you're going to probably lose audience with the way that, why would anybody want to watch a game when all of a sudden in the middle of the game they switch to a different game that is completely unrelated to this one, and even a different sports too. So while that of course was happening, I was mad scrambling to try to find an alternative, and I did eventually found an alternative watching a Fox Deportes stream. In fact, I think that was the one that the knockoff stream that I was watching was actually the Fox Sports 2 Mexico channel that was broadcasting this game. But right as I click on to the game, I literally missed the first goal that the Sounders score, and it was Ladero, the one that scores the opening goal from the Sounders. I did actually see what happened on the replay, but yeah, I mean, I'm kind of disappointed that I wasn't able to see a goal on TV live, and you know that feeling when you of course miss a goal when you watch TV, and I definitely got there. But yeah, the Sounders were up 1-0 up to that point. Then Alex Rodon pulls it just wide from close range in the 38th minute before Tiana missed wide from long range. And you know, I even wrote the Sounders, they gotta be careful not conceding not the second goal, but more like the equalizer, because you know, even though they were up 1-0 in aggregate score, if Montagua can get an equalizer, they would actually have the upper hand because they would lead on away goal to move on into the next round. But as we go into the second half, this is when the game really kind of turned, and this is when this goal that the Sounders scored really kind of deflated Montagua in this game, because just 1 minute into the second half, Rodon would score from Ladera, and I think it's Christian Rodon. I forgot to put the C there. I mean, I gotta do a better job in terms of that, because now we have two Rodon brothers in with the Sounders. Well, it's been that for the past couple of seasons, just like what we see with the two Char brother in with the Portland Timbers. But yeah, Christian Rodon, of course, scoring from Ladero to make it 2-0 in favor of the Sounders. Rusnak then hits one into the side thing from close range. I mean, Rusnak has had a lot of problems with finishing in these first two appearances, and you know what Sounders fan hope is that, you know, maybe that of course would improve as the season go. But at least one thing I will say about Rusnak that has not been missing during his time with RSL is his playmaking. I mean, his playmaking is still on point, and he actually ends up to be on the assist chart. But as I said, with the goal that Rodon scored that gives the Sounders a 2-0 lead, it really kind of opened the floodgates and deflated Montagua, because just 10 minutes after that goal was scored, Jordan Morris would score for the first time this season for the Sounders, as he scored from Christian Rodon to make it 3-0 in favor of the Sounders. And I basically wrote, yep, this one looks like it's done, and now they may be started to rest the team a little bit, because you know they do have a big game against Nashville SC on Sunday. But just a couple of minutes later, it would be 4-0 as Kellen Rowe would score from Christian Rodon to make it 4-0 in favor of the Sounders. And at this point, I kind of started to not pay attention to this game, because again, I know this game is done. It's probably just going to be garbage time for the last 30 minutes of this game. Though we did have a fifth goal in the 73rd minute, as Leo Chu would join the goal scoring party, as he scored from Rusnak to make it 5-0 in favor of the Sounders, and that would be your final score of this game, and also the final score in terms of the aggregates, as the Sounders are moving on into the next round of the CONCACAF Champions League. But they will have a daunting task in the next round when they play against Club Leon, which I'll talk a little bit more about that. But first, the shots in this one: 15 shots compared to 4 that Montagua has, 6 shots on goal compared to none that Montagua has, 6 shots off target compared to 2 that Montagua has, 3 shots that was blocked compared to 2 that Montagua has, and possession-wise, 56% possession compared to 44% possession that Montagua has in this game. And I also want to say that this game also looked very similar to last year when the Portland Timbers play against Marathon at home, because when the Timbers were like 1-0 up heading into the second half, and then they basically put up a 5 spot later, and I think Marathon even tied the game at one point to basically make this game very interesting. But ultimately, you know, the Timbers kind of run riot in the second half to put up a 5 spot, and it just feels like it's the same case in this game, where, you know, the Sounders, although they had some nervy moments in this game, especially in the first half, once they got that second goal, that really kind of deflated Montagua any chances of potentially coming back from this two-legged affair, and the Sounders just really put on the throttle in this game. And also, now that they probably hope that maybe, you know, while they put up a 5 spot in this game, I'm pretty sure maybe some Sounders fan might be thinking that, yeah, it's great that we score a lot of goals, but you got to save that when they play against Nashville SC. And there's no doubt that, you know, on Sunday when I do go to that game in person, I don't expect the Sounders are going to put up the same offensive goal scoring number, especially when they play against a much stingier defense that is Nashville FC. But at least for now, they can of course enjoy their victory until Sunday, and also, you know, they're gonna be looking forward to the next round opponent, which, like I said, it's against Club Leon, and it's kind of what we expected, where it's gonna be a rematch of the League Cup final that we saw last year. And as I said, the Sounders, they smell blood. They want revenge after what happened in the League Cup final and came so close of becoming the first MLS team to win that competition. But either way, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys leave a like, smash the subscribe button. Let me know in the comments below what do you think of this video. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And yeah, I hope to see you guys next time.